Hey, this is James from All Hail Internal Combustion. Uh, we're getting back to work on the Pontiac. We ended up talking to some guy that we met off of Facebook Marketplace that is sitting on a fair amount of Pontiac parts, which is good. And he's got really weird stuff that we need. The radiator support that we bought at Carlisle, this is that one I showed in the video like a week ago where it's all full of body filler and pretty mutilated and messed up. Well, this guy, oddly enough, had one that had a trashed upper plate on it, and he kept all the lower stuff and basically took the upper plate off and put this one in storage. And this one is in amazing shape. And the only thing is, it's got a little area there that we need to bend out, but it's not all rotted. So what I'm going to start doing is I am going to remove the upper plate off of this radiator support. Get it in a way that I can actually work on it. So this thing's held on with spot welds from the factory. So what I'm doing now is I'm going with a wire brush on a drill and just finding where all my spot welds are. There were two there. So this section is loose. Then I've got a few on the top. Same thing on the other side. And I think I might have a few in the front, but I need to flip it over to see what's going on with that. And once we get this piece separated off of here, we'll strip it all down to bare metal. We'll clean that one up real good. We'll put them in a coat of rust inhibitive primer and get these things bolted back together, and I'll get them welded back together. But for right now, I'm going to keep working on spot welds. And what I do to take spot welds out, which is the same thing that a lot of people do, I ain't nobody special. Y'all know that. But
I'm special.
I'll usually start with an 1/8 inch drill bit when I find my spot welds. So I'm going to do the same thing here. And then I've got a spot weld bit. I bought this kit like years and years and years ago. But this drills out spot welds and leaves you a nice little hole to work with. And then when you put your pieces all back together, the hole that the spot weld saw makes or drill makes is what you use to weld your pieces back together. So right now I am going to continue on, and I'll drill some holes here and show you the progress. Okay, so I found 4 more holes on the top passenger side of the radiator support. And I've got those 1/8 inch drilled, and then the spot weld driller. And I still got something holding me up on this side. And I've probably got some spot welds in there. I can feel one there and one there. But I'm going to take the wire brush to them and open them up, and that usually lets you see where the spot welds are. I mean, you can feel them, but it's just better to put an eye on them sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this area up with a wire brush and get these spot welds exposed. I find that hitting areas you're trying to take apart and look for spot welds to be a little bit easier if you take a wire brush and hit your area, because usually the spot welds will be recessed in a little bit. But as you can see, I got 1, 2, 3 of them right here that hold this support. So there was like a total of 3, 7, 9 spot welds that held this radiator support up on top of the lower piece. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'll go ahead and drill these 3 out and see if I actually have this side separated. Got the other 3 drilled out on the face of this radiator support. And this side is free. So I'm going to go ahead down on the other side and find out where all my spot welds are. Drill those out. And this top piece will be ready to pop off and get cleaned up and get welded to the new one after the new one is, of course, cleaned up and put in primer and everything else. Alright, so I got the top piece of the radiator support off. We're going to clean it and, like I said, put primer on it. Make sure everything's straight before we try and mate it up to the new radiator support, because I noticed one of these fender bolt housings over here is kind of tweaked, and this thing's got about 5,000 layers of paint on it from being painted over and over and over again. So yeah, we got some work to do, a lot of prep work to do and everything else, but I'm going to wrap this one up, and that's, you know, taking out spot welds. And boy, if you're lucky enough to have to do something like, you know, remove a floor pan or a trunk floor, or God forbid a quarter panel, you can spend hours and hours and hours doing this. So this has been James from All Hail Internal Combustion. We'll catch you next time. More Pontiac stuff to come.